cats versus dogs. Which is better?
It's the age-old argument, cats versus dogs. Now, Dan, which team are you on?
Well, I am firmly on the side of team dogs.
No, I couldn't disagree more. No, I'm firmly on the team cats.
Now, before we actually get into this, I'd like to state that I don't hate cats.
Okay.
I'm more, if a cat comes up to me and is very cat-like and purrs and meows, I'm like, oh, a cat likes me.
Okay, well,
but that doesn't happen very often, James.
Well, I do hate dogs. I'm sorry, it's a controversial opinion, I know, and I'm probably in the minority, but I just much prefer cats. I'm sorry, but that's the way I am.
So before we go into like why you love cats and I love dogs,
I don't really hate dogs. I am joking.
But I'd like to, yeah, with cats, they're not. Oh,
I'm sensing there's some mistrust, or there's something that you're just not fond about cats.
You see, it comes back to like a childhood thing. A cat scratched me once before a dog ever bit me. So I think,
is that right?
I think by default the cat just got there. If a dog would have like upset me at that age before the cat, I probably would have leaned towards cats. But
I see.
But also, I've grown up with dogs, so I feel I'm on a good connection with dogs.
Yeah, I think it's a lot to do with, isn't it? Positive or negative associations, and also what you grew up around. Like in my family, we always had cats. That's what I'm used to. That's what I prefer now as an adult. So tell you what, Dan, why don't you go ahead and why don't you try and change my mind? Why don't you try and convince me of your point of view that dogs are in fact better than cats?
Challenge accepted.
Make your case. Off you go.
Right. So I have my list. I've prepared, James. I've prepared.
Are you not the only one?
So yes.
I've also made some notes.
Excellent. Okay. First one on my list is dogs are easier to train. Now,
easier to train. Okay.
Now, with that subject, what I'm really saying is our dogs are team players. They understand that they need to better themselves for the greater good.
So they see you as the boss.
Not, dogs and people are companions. It's I wouldn't say 50-50. It's not 50-50. It's more like 60-40 would be generous. But,
yes.
But dogs understand that, they're there to support you. You'll support them. It's a good bond, James. Dogs know that there is a greater good besides themselves. Whereas with cats, I know cats can be trained, which, by the way, I think is weird. But cats they come across as very selfish. Yes.
Now, let me counter your point. This is something I quite like about cats. They're very independent-minded. There's a little bit of wildness still in a cat, and I think that's fun to me. I enjoy that. They're very independent. And Dan, now, do you know why this is? I think this is very interesting.
Go on.
So there's a theory which is that because dogs have been pets for much longer than cats, they are more dependent on human beings, because dogs, it's believed anyway, that dogs became pets for people many tens or hundreds of thousands of years ago, when we were still hunting and gathering for food, whereas cats became pets much more recently with farming and agriculture. And there were big piles of grain and rice and everything, and mice. And so we needed something to catch the mice. And that was maybe only 8,000 years ago, so much more recently. So they haven't really had time to breed all the wildness out. So perhaps they're slightly less domesticated than dogs. And I think that's interesting.
I mean, not to side with you on this, but I think sometimes the benefits of owning a cat is they're not because they're very independent. They don't need as much care. Whereas dogs, like I say, the team players, they need companionship, and they need attention constantly. You can't just leave a dog alone for a day.
Yes, that's true.
Whereas cats, well, they come and go as they please. But again, that's why I like dogs. They are the team players. It's when you come home to a dog, especially after a rough day, it's like the dog comes home. It's like, you're back. I can't believe you actually came back.
I mean, to be fair, yes, you're right. A cat will say, "Oh, you again."
You.
It's true. Yeah, I can't deny that. Independent. Yeah. But then, I mean, it sounds to me, Dan, that you're making a point for me there. You're saying that cats are very easy to keep. It's true.
I did. I just made your point for you. So
you did.
What an amateur in the debate game.
No, it's straight cats, and this is something I'll get into a little bit later. But cats are very easy. They're very quiet, very clean. Great.
Yeah, but James, you mentioned before with cats protecting crops. Now, were they protecting crops, or were they just hungry and looking for mice to eat?
Good point.
Whereas dogs, they offer genuine protection. They will protect, depending on the dog. There are dogs do have personalities. Some are quite lazy, and some are quite fierce. And the fierce ones will protect you and your home. It's
okay. I understand. So you're saying then, Dan, I think that dogs they're protecting you and your family because they love you and they feel part of your group.
Yes,
perhaps.
Essentially, the dog and the family are a pack, and like I say, dogs are very much pack animals. They take it very seriously. It's ingrained in their DNA. They're not lone warriors.
I see your point.
Cats.
Yeah. Good point. Well argued, Dan. Yes. All right. Fair enough. What's your next point?
So yeah, I went on to loyalty. Also, yes, dogs are they're very good for keeping you fit. Now, I'm not one to talk about fitness, but if you take a dog for a walk once or twice a day, then in turn, not only are you doing something nice for your dog, keeping your dog healthy, the dog is also keeping you nice and healthy. Whereas with a cat will never take you out for the cat will never bring a lead to you and go, come on, let's go for a walk. Let's work off them calories.
I've never seen that. You're correct. I've never seen anyone take a cat for a walk that's, again, good point. I can't argue with that.
Dogs can make you laugh.
Dogs can make you laugh.
But that's not a good point, I don't think, because I've seen many a YouTube video of cats making me laugh.
Oh, your cats are hilarious.
In fact, this is more going to you, actually, to be honest, because cats rule the internet.
They rule the internet, yeah.
They are highly entertaining and for some reason terrified of cucumbers.
Yes, that is true. Yeah, they are very odd, actually. They're very eccentric animals and they have their own little eccentric personalities, like being scared of cucumbers.
Yeah, so I think I've made a point for you there.
I feel like I might win this debate, Dan.
Yeah, I feel like I'm secretly on the cat side here. This isn't fair on dogs. So another thing I do like about dogs is they come in all sizes.
Oh, there's a lot of different kinds of dogs. They're very diverse. That is true.
Whereas cats, I know there's different types of cats. There are some domestic cats that are quite big, but usually if you want a bigger cat, it would have to be on the wild side.
That is true, yes. I mean, I think there are wild cats in Scotland that are, they're wild animals. They're hardly domestic animals at all, but they look quite similar to big cats, but they're just big.
Yeah, and I also, I get the impression with smaller cats, like if they ever look at you, what they're thinking in their heads is, if I was a bigger cat, I'd
eat that man.
Yeah, I'd eat him.
Yeah, that's true. Well, like I say, they're very wild. They're independent. It's possible. Yeah.
I've wrote down a few points here, but now I'm thinking I shouldn't have wrote these down. These are terrible, with the exception of one, James. So I've got down, dogs don't use litter boxes. That's not really an argument.
I mean, a litter box is A, very convenient. B, very easy to clean out. C, very cheap to operate. I don't know if that's the right word, but yes. A litter box is a great invention.
To be honest, if I could train a dog to use a litter box, I'd be very happy.
Well, Dan, there's your next project.
Yeah, there we go. So my final point is that dogs have the abilities to be heroes, to save people, to help.
Oh, that is true. You do hear a lot about police dogs and like St. Bernard's rescuing people in avalanches. And I mean, there's lots of war stories about dogs. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and well, they're my main points. The overriding arc of all my points is that they are team players. They are a part of a pact, and I like that sense of belonging. I get the benefits of cats being independent, easy to look after, but I like the idea of it being a commitment. What you put into a dog, you will get back with a countless amount of love and affection.
That is true. I mean, we started this program and I said I hate dogs. I don't. And you very clearly demonstrated, Dan, why I should not hate dogs. They are very useful animals. They are very loving animals. They are good parts of families and human communities, I suppose. But personally, I still would not have a dog as a pet myself.
So
I think that's a fair point.
How would you argue against dogs?
All right. Allow me to make the case for cats. Here we go. Your Honor, the evidence. So point number one, and I mentioned this slightly a little bit earlier, cats are very easy to look after and they don't take up a huge amount of space.
Yes.
So a dog is, you need to walk it, you need to make sure it's got kind of company and is looked after all the time. A cat, you can be in not a massive house, a reasonably sized house, and not even know where the cat is. A cat will look after itself and just go off and do its thing. And it's quite low maintenance, which I think is they make a good pet, like a companion.
What I will say about cats in preference to dogs is that point. Yes, it's a dog would be better. It's difficult to look after a dog when you're just one person. Dogs are preferably a family pet.
That's true.
Whereas cats, you can be just one person and have a pet cat. And
that's true.
And they are a lot easier to look after. They're more independent, and particularly for someone who's not in a family group, I think cats are the ideal pets for that situation.
Listeners, did you hear that? Dan said ideal pet. There you go. I think I'm winning him round. We're winning. So that leads me on to my next point, that they are actually perfectly content indoors. An indoor cat apparently is much less at risk of getting diseases or parasites or anything nasty like that. And there's a lot of space for them to exercise in and run around in and play, because let's not forget that cats can jump high as well. So they can jump onto cupboards and everything. And there's a lot of space inside even just a small home that they're perfectly happy in. Indoor cats.
Yes, it's a home could easily be their playground. I can definitely see the benefits of that, not having to leave. Obviously, your cat's going to be safe.
That's true. I mean, one downside of this, I must say, is you need to be careful about leaving windows open. If you've got an indoor cat or a cat you don't want going outside, they will get out if they want to.
They will get
That's true.
free.
And I'm talking from experience. Absolutely. My next point, cats are quieter. Sometimes. Not in the middle of the night when you're trying to sleep and they jump up on you, which is incredibly annoying. But in general, let's just say in general, cats don't really make a huge amount of fuss. They don't bark. They don't attack other animals. Well, sometimes they do. But in general, I think at least, cats are quieter.
Yes, I'll agree with you on that one. Like speaking from experience, a dog can bark quite a lot and for quite a long amount of time. And if it's a small dog and it's the high pitched bark, cuts right through you. Like, oh no. But yeah. Yes, with cats, yes, I get what you're saying. You have a few meows. It'll speak to you, say, "Feed me." What are you doing? Get up.
Yeah.
And generally, that'll be it.
Yeah, exactly. What's next on my list? Oh, yes, we talked about cleanliness. Now, this, I think, is maybe one of the things I dislike about dogs the most, is the cleaning and the grooming. Dogs smell bad. Dan, I'm sorry, you can't disagree with me on this point. Dogs smell really bad, and
Oh,
cleaning them it's a real chore. Now, a cat is a self-cleaning machine. Really, cats groom themselves and they keep themselves clean, and dogs do not. So, in terms of maintenance, easy.
yes, maintenance. Yeah, I'll go with that. Although I think all dogs smell. I think that depends on the owners or the dog.
Maybe.
But yes, dogs are more. Yes, they rely on us to clean them rather than cats.
So maybe we can say then that the fact that dogs rely on people is maybe a positive and maybe sometimes a negative as well.
Yes, I'd say it is a double-edged sword.
Aha. That's a good phrase, that, Dan.
Thank you.
And what's last on my list? Oh, now, I think this is quite a nice one, actually. Apparently, according to some studies, owning a cat specifically has certain health benefits. Did you know that purring apparently reduces stress?
I didn't know that, but I can see why.
Yes. So there you go.
Purring is very relaxing.
And I don't know how true this is, but some people have said as well that it has healing capabilities on human muscle and bones. That sounds like absolute nonsense to me, but you never know.
But we're not scientists, James.
I'm certainly not a scientist, but I can definitely understand that maybe purring has a soothing effect and makes you feel good and relaxes you. And yeah, that's one of the things I like about having a happy cat in my house.
Yes, I have witnessed a cat purring a few times, and it's. I'll be honest, it's a really cool thing. I was like, oh, that cat's purring on me.
It shows they're happy. It shows they like you. Yeah, it's lovely.
But yeah, I'd say you do get that from a dog. If a dog playing with a dog, that can relieve stress. I think. If a dog's just lying on you, I don't know. It depends how big the dog is. That can cause a lot of stress if it's a big dog lying on you.
That's true. Yeah, and if it's licking you, oh no.
But yeah, I think they're all good arguments, James. I've got to be honest. Like I said at the beginning, I actually don't mind cats. I'm not against them, but I just as a preference, I prefer dogs. I understand. You've made a lot of good points.
Well, as of you, Dan, I must say, I started off saying I hate dogs, and I don't really. You've made a lot of good arguments, and I agree with a lot of them.
Thank you. So I think we knew before we started this, it comes down to personal preference.
Yes,
when it comes
I think
to
you're
animals. Right. If I was forced into a situation where I had to own a cat, I don't think I would complain.
And likewise for me as well. If someone forced me to have a dog, I don't know when that situation would ever happen, but it might.
So yeah, I think I don't think there's a winner in this debate. No. Really. I think it's just a mutual respect, a tipping of the cap to both species.
Yes, absolutely. Let's agree to disagree and agree to agree.
Yes.
Find your English voice with iqglobal. Go to our website www.iqglobal.com to find out more.